All right, welcome back to Barbie Kong. I am here with Miss Amy Klewitz. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
I am so happy that you're doing this podcast today and that you're such an amazing person, and you were one of the first people that I wanted back on because you do a lot of stuff. So can you just tell everybody who you are and let me just all of that stuff?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me back, Katie. Amy Klewitz. I am a professional actor, model, TV host. I also own a hair and makeup company. That's my day career. So I've been a hair and makeup artist for a long time. And yeah, I just finished a show, Savage in Limbo, which was a play that we did in Producers Club in Times Square. That was really fun. What else do you need to know?
Can you say a little bit about Savage in Limbo, how you came to that show? Because it's if for those who don't know, it's a John Patrick Shanley play, and just can you talk a little bit about, because it's a heavy play to begin with, and it's it was really great. We saw it, and so just maybe talk a little bit about how you got to the show and then what the process was like.
Yeah, I auditioned for the show, so I just found the call. I actually found it on my own. My agent didn't find it or anything. I was on backstage, and I was like, oh, I love Shanley stuff. I've done, obviously, we went to graduate school together, and you do a lot of Shanley in graduate school because he's a brilliant writer. And so I was like, oh, Savage, great. So I auditioned for it, and then it was actually a self-tape initially, which is a little weird for theater auditions, at least now. And then the callback was in person, and I nailed the callback, and and I got cast that same night. So that's sort of how it came to me. Yeah,
it seemed like it was a role meant for you in some ways, and it just was like so, like you were just so part of that character. So was it an easy process to get into Linda? Right,
yeah, Linda.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. So Linda, I'm joking. Linda is the character. If you don't know, Savage in Limbo is a very body. Is that a word? Yeah, body. Yeah, woman from the Bronx, Italian woman from the Bronx who is in a relationship with Tony, but he's chronically unavailable. Basically, the entire play is about people who are 32, which is funny, finding themselves and not being able to move, not being able to make a step in the right direction of their lives and being stuck. The entire play is deep and bizarre and comedic and about being stuck. And you asked me about process? Oh, yeah, Linda.
Yeah, like how you created Linda.
Yeah, so Linda, I really drew on so much of my training, obviously, from graduate school. It's been a while since I've been on stage because of COVID. But it kind of just felt like riding a bike again. And I really just drew on people I knew. Linda curses a lot, and she says really nasty things that I would personally never be able to say, which kind of makes it fun to play. And you want me to be honest?
Yes.
I used ChatGPT this time to help me with character development.
That's so interesting, and I'm glad we touched on this because some of my other questions are more about how the industry has changed. So obviously, tell us that. Was it easier, time saver?
Yeah, so I'm not really good at script analysis. I mean, I am in a sense. Obviously, I'm trained, and I'm better as an actor at figuring out the psychological and emotional aspects of each character. But figuring out exactly what she's saying and what is going on in this moment, and why is she saying this to Tony at this moment, I was like, I'm able to fill in the gaps by myself, but I was like, why not get a little bit of extra help? So I literally would just take photos of like the monologue I had and ask Chat and be like, what is she saying in this moment? And it was almost like Shanley's a little bit like translating Shakespeare. I'm not going to compare him to Shakespeare, but in the sense that there's so many deeper layers to his character and so much characters and so much going on underneath that I didn't want to miss anything. And it was crazy. It was crazy what Chat came up with. I'm like, holy crap. Am I allowed to sort of cuss on here? Holy crap, I didn't even think of half of this. And oh my God, that makes so much sense. And even things like, throughout the play, she drinks a Rusty Nail with no ice, and the drink Brandy Alexander's keep coming up. And I asked, like, why does Tony keep drinking Brandy Alexander's? It's a very girly drink, to be honest, and he's supposed to be this macho Italian guy. And it gave me an entire backstory on it that just filled in so many gaps that I personally am not able to do. So that really, honestly, really helped. I felt like I was cheating, but I wasn't.
No, I don't think it's cheating at all. It's so funny because Joel's taking a class right now and he's working on something, and we went to Nantucket last weekend and we had to do this horrendous boat ride for like 6 hours. We took the ferry from Manhattan to Nantucket, and I would not recommend, but especially if you get seasick. But anyway, we got there and back. But he was writing and doing stuff. I was like, what are you doing? He's like working on this character bio. And so it just takes so much longer to do all that back work. And yeah, I mean, I guess if it's helpful to do the ChatGPT, it's easier.
Yeah, it was helpful to do both because I think it definitely needs to organically come from you and your own, draw from your own experiences and your own pain and your own people you can base things off of. But just for like basic script analysis, it filled in a lot of gaps. It really helped me. So that was, talk about technology and where things are going. That was the first time I've ever used that in my process.
Yeah, it's because that play specifically is it's hard. Shanley, if you don't know, is very difficult to even understand it. And like the limbo part, I've read that play, but when I saw it visually, it was good to see it because like I saw kind of the triangles. I don't know if that was part of the process, but for me, I saw like the three characters kind of in this triangle limbo that they were stuck. I saw that up very clearly. But to kind of even just say like, what are they saying here? What does this mean? And the language is a little archaic at this point in time. I always say that. Like we saw Danny and the Deep Blue Sea at.
On Broadway.
Yeah, I think we saw it. Yeah, we saw it in the West Village. Anyway, but Aubrey Plaza was in it. So these actors and I still, it's a tough because the verbiage, people don't talk that way anymore. So to make that organic was really difficult. So I mean, I think you really nailed it for sure.
How is it? I'm curious because you actually knew the play probably better than I did. I mean, I maybe read it in graduate school, but how is it reading it and then seeing it? Because like you said, it is a difficult.
It was so good to see it because I didn't that was one of the Shanleys that was difficult for me to read. I always remember because I remember seeing people do like scenes and stuff, and I always got it out of context. But this one, when I saw the whole run of it was really interesting. And like the whole Santa Claus part, that's all in the script, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we worked with our director Lola, who was really amazing. It's labeled a concert play, and I struggle with things that are absurdist somewhat. And she was sort of going there. So it was if you kind of take it as a concert play and not as a realistic. It's almost like you walk into purgatory, like limbo. This bar is purgatory.
Right.
Yeah. So that was pretty big in her direction and what she kind of wanted to accomplish with it. So I think that helped.
Yeah, and the space was small-ish, so it felt like there wasn't even that. The space was helpful to the actors, I think, for that. Like, where do we go? What do we say? Like, we have nowhere to go. We're kind of trapped in this place.
Yeah, they're all trapped in limbo. What do you think? What do you think of the ending? Because a lot of people have trouble with the ending. Because they don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think I liked it. I think that because the whole play, you want them to change something, but you know that it's probably not going to happen. Yeah. So yeah, but I thought that like it was like you didn't know what the feeling would be at the end because it was just kind of so like disappointing for the characters. I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, nobody. Spoiler alert. Nobody takes a step really.
Right.
Where, yeah.
But they really want to, and you saw that, and that's the life struggle of like we want to do this, we want to like lose that 20 pounds that you just need to do, but you never do, or whatever it is. Like that just is. I saw that really clearly. So yeah. But it was great, and I really thought that your acting specifically really stood out. So, it looked like you had put a lot of awesome work into it.
I put 100% into this. I really loved that role, and the second I got cast, and it was a lot of lines to learn.
Yes. If anybody does not know, it's a lot of effing lines.
Yes, it's a lot of cursing. It's literally, Linda basically just talks for an hour straight. Yeah. I mean,
and it's like monologue after monologue, like
yeah. So that was hard to memorize, and so I, from literally day one, I was like, all right, I can't half-ass this, and I hope it showed. It sounds like it showed.
Yeah, no, it was really, really amazing, and I'm always like to see you perform because you are very you use your whole body, and you're very like you're a strong woman, and it shows very clearly. So just moving on to like the industry, and so basically I stopped doing this right after we did the Buicks and because of COVID, and it was just so hard to like get people and blah blah blah, and then a lot of time passed. But I am curious, like how you feel, like not just with ChatGPT, but like how you feel things are going right now. I feel very jaded about the industry. I feel like it is a very difficult, not just for getting yourself out there, but just continuing the art of it, because there's so many portals for people to kind of garner the fame and the fortune. So how do you feel about that?
I agree with you. I hear what you're saying. I absolutely, I see that. Part of it for me is just having to put on blinders to that, because it can be really overwhelming. It's like, I don't know. I have lots of opinions about this.
You can say as much or little you want.
No, it's fine. I started doing influencer work years ago because I sort of saw that's where commercials were going. That's where the industry was going. And it's like I got paid recently a lot of money to spokesperson for a company and just like make a little video and put it online. And in my head, I'm like, really? Yeah. I'm like, great, it paid my bills. But I'm like, I can recite Shakespeare on the spot, like I am trained. And so some of it feels a little silly to me. But also there's a side of me that's like, you can't fight the technology. You have to roll with it. And so I did, and it's provided other opportunities for it. But, part of me is still a little old school in that, I don't know. So some of it is having to put on blinders and roll with it. Obviously as of the theater world, everything changed, just all of acting in general. Once COVID hit, everything's self-tape now. Well, that's mostly for film and TV and commercial. Theater is back in person, but even that, sometimes I'm still getting theater calls that initially were a self-tape, which is bizarre to me. Which same thing, you can't fight it. Sometimes I find it easier. Sometimes I don't find that, as good, but
yeah, it's hard because I think when we were in school, there was a big, like, none of this existed. We didn't really even have, some people didn't even have cell phones, literally.
Influencers weren't even a thing.
No, there was no, and it was really focused, obviously, like the program that we did was super focused on the art and the process and the art for art's sake, and that was really, really, I think, amazing that we had that foundation. But it's curious to me now that, we've come so far with everything, where now people go for auditions, they ask like how many followers you have, how many, and that's the part that is discouraging to me.
Yeah, I fully hear that. I hear that and I understand that. I'm just as frustrated with it. But I will say, I don't know, graduate school was the best 3 years of my life, just because my soul lives with the theater, and we just got to do that full time for 3 years. And even going into this process with Savage and Limbo, I was the most trained person on that stage. And I'm not saying that out of arrogance. I'm just saying that out of everyone on that stage was very good. Everyone came from different training, but I definitely felt the most comfortable in the rehearsal process because we were so trained. I'm also older than a lot of the people on that stage, so I had just more life experience. But there is some benefit to having gone to school and trained as much as we did, because I was able to just walk into that role and feel very comfortable and not know exactly what to do, knew the techniques, knew what worked for me, knew what didn't. So
yeah, I think that's one of the things that's shifted a lot, is the how to act is completely different than it has ever been. And the way that we trained, even though I think it was super, in depth, it's not necessarily even,
well, it's not the real world of acting. I mean, but it came into play for this when, it's like I listened to other, I don't know, I might digress on something.
Yeah, go for it.
I listened to other, like, very famous actors, who were chronically told no, and who did the, audition route. And hold on, I want to be sure I say this point right. What were we talking about before?
The difference between the way that people are acting now.
Oh yeah. I was going to digress on something totally separate. So
do you remember it?
Yeah, I do. But it sort of had to do with that. Anyway, just get going. What were we talking about? Sorry, you can cut this out. The technology of things.
That there's that we've acting is different now, basically. That there's a different way.
That's what I was going to say. So all these really famous, Octavia Spencer, all these people who went to Juilliard and went to, Yale and all that. It was also Michael, older Michael Caine, who said something really brilliant. He's like, I was told no so many times, but I continued to work on just smaller things. He's like, so it's like you have the actor who maybe gets offered the big role once a year. And then he's like, you had me who was maybe also getting offered the big role, but not so much, but also took the smaller roles in the meantime. And so when it came head to head, he's like, I was 10 times more prepared than this other actor who only took the big roles once a year. Because they were trying to make a name for themselves. He's like, I just continued to work, and it made me so prepared for when the time actually comes. And I never forgot that, and that's what I felt like a little bit with school and with acting now and with acting changing. The format has changed somewhat. A lot of it is online. There's self-tapes, things like that. But the core of it is still the same. Yeah,
it's still the same. And you can see it. I mean, there's still amazing performances and actors. And just going off of what you were saying, it's funny, we were watching something last night that was this obscure movie that Joel picked. I don't even know the name. It's about women wrestling. But Walton Goggins was in it. And, he's in this superstardom right now. But it's just, he had such a small role. And it came out maybe last year or the year before, recently. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting that it probably just excited him or whatever the material. So, there is people that are still kind of doing things based off of the art of it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the goal. You just want to be working. You just want to be a working actor.
And you are such a grinder, and you're doing it. And that's what's so inspiring. And I want you to just, if you can, speak a little bit to just younger girls out there that are starting and that, that process. Because I do think that you are a person that is always working, and you're always doing things, and you're always putting yourself out there. And I think that takes a lot of courage, and it's really hard.
Yeah, it is really hard. It's not an easy industry. And I remember when we were in it's not the Actors Studio. I'm forgetting who said it, but someone famous was like, if you can imagine yourself doing something else, then don't pursue this.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, who said that?
I think Ron Liebman said it, or no, it was it was Bob Lapone. I think.
Was it Bob? No, it was someone on the show.
Oh.
I don't know. But and that never left my head, because it's not an easy industry. And if you are starting out, just you have to know that the industry makes no sense. I think I maybe said this on the last time I was on your podcast. There has to be a complete acceptance that the industry makes no sense. A plus B does not equal C, ever. And the line is never straight. And once you really accept that, nothing is personal. Every audition I go on, I get bummed if I don't get, called back for something I thought was really good. And I really have to train myself to not spiral and go places that are like, well, why am I even auditioning? There's thousands of people auditioning for this one thing, and there's only one shot here and this. It's like I have to tune that out, because guess what? I got cast in Savage and Limbo, in an off-Broadway show. So it does happen, and you do work, and the industry does absorb you if you keep doing it. But I learned that lesson kind of early when I was choreographing a show, an equity showcase, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. And I had been pounding the pavement, grinding, auditioning left and right, and getting a little frustrated with the process and discouraged. And then I sat in this equity call and watched the whole casting process with the director and the producers, and it made no sense. The person who gave the best audition that day was not going to get called in because she had red hair. Yeah. And they were looking for a mousy brunette, who was also very talented, who they ended up casting. But it just really I opened my eyes to like, wow, none of this is personal at all. It just makes no sense. And once you accept that, it's you can kind of just focus on the art.
Yeah, I was listening to the thing with SJP, and she's like, you just have to accept you don't get the job. Like, she kept saying that, like, you don't get the job. And it's hard because you want the job.
And it's also crazy to me. It's helpful to hear, like, SJP or other major actors who have been through the same process, you know? Because in my head, it's like, I think it was Jessica Chastain said something like, oh, my God, I heard so many no's. And in my head, I'm like, who said no to Jessica Chastain? She's brilliant. She's gorgeous. She's talented. Who said no to her? But millions of people did before she actually, sort of got her break.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit, like, no one's getting older. We're just getting wiser, but we are number-wise getting older. And, like, I always say to Joel and to myself and, like, that, there's so much time. I think we've been in a time crunch, and that there's still this, like, there's, even though you get older, you can still act, you can still do these things, but do you feel like that's been a pressure for you?
100%. Yeah, the roles change. I'm still in young mom mode for commercially, but it's going to change, and it's very hard being a woman in this industry. And I think there is a movement that's changing a bit. That's the one benefit of social media, is celebrating older women and the beauty of older women. Mature women, I don't even want to say older. And, the standard for what is older now is not what it used to be.
Totally.
Which is good. So fortunately, I think that's changing. But yes, it is hard as a woman.
Yeah, and I probably asked you this question the first round of this, but it's something that's interesting because, like, now I can do a litmus of, like, do you feel anything has really changed for women in this industry, or...
Yeah, I do. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Me Too movement and stuff like that. Obviously, there's been a reckoning with that, which has been great, because obviously I've experienced a lot of Me Too stuff. I haven't in necessarily a while, which is crazy, I have to say that. But there's definitely more recognition of that, which is great. But yeah, I think there's been, same thing as I said before, there's at least been recognition that women, older women, mature women have stories too, and that those need to be written about and celebrated. And so, yeah, I think there has been a shift.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a shift as well. I think there's still more to go in a sense. Like,
yeah.
It still feels that, it's a young girl, like, young person's industry, but then I think there is still this thing of, like, Demi Moore's 67 and she looks like she's, in her late 40s,
Yeah.
So there's still this kind of thing of, like, the aging naturally is still difficult, I think.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's going to go away. I also work in the beauty industry.
Oh yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, my day job's, I'm a makeup artist and hairstylist, so I see it all the time. Even with, it gets younger and younger, the girls that are getting injectables, and I'm like, you don't need those. You're 25. You have nothing to. So I'm not sure. I think those will go in and out of style and phase, and but yeah, there's definitely still the same pressure, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it too. Like, I still feel like, as I'm aging, I'm like, oh, I still have to dye my hair all the time. I'm not going to let the gray come in yet, and and it's like, it's hard,
and that's okay. I'm like, age how you want to age.
Yeah.
I honestly, being in the beauty industry, I'm like, fine, you want to, as long as you're not like a Kardashian and like 20 years old who is super injected when you don't need it, fine. You want a facelift when you're 50, go for it, right. As long as it's not like crazy, you don't look crazy.
Yeah, totally. I think it's like however you feel and makes you feel good. But I think it is hard when we live in New York and the standard is like so skewed, and it's like you do feel this thing of like, oh, we all feel like we're 27, but our bodies are getting older, and so there's like this constant kind of, I feel, pressure to like live up to that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm also in the modeling world, which is a whole other thing. So, they say there's body positivity, but there's not in that world still.
Yeah.
Which I've had to battle.
Yeah, it's hard. I still think the standard of beauty is very hard to attain, especially as you get older. And if you don't have a lot of money, if you don't have the money for it, it's not going to be that easy for you to just, look a certain way. And I think that's also annoying.
Yeah, totally. It's not accessible to everyone, and it's unrealistic beauty standards.
How do you do your makeup? for the day job, what do you do?
For my day job? Yeah. Oh my God, I barely wear any makeup because I'm doing it on other people.
I mean, I was going to say you look so great right now, and
zero makeup. I'm wearing no makeup.
And see, okay, I will just say, it's very hard for me to go out without a lick of makeup on. Even in this heat, it's like I am still putting on the foundation under the eyes. Like, I'm better in the summers, but I'm caking it on.
Yeah, that's okay. That's your own process. I have a head cold right now, and I knew we weren't going to be on camera, so otherwise I would have put on makeup. Yeah. I totally would have put on makeup.
But it looks great. But so do you enjoy that? It's something fun to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great career. It's been an awesome, fortunately it's been successful, and it's been a great way to support the acting. That was always the goal, and it's been,
And just to go back, in terms of like the rejection and the industry and all that kind of stuff, like, do you have a good support system? Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I got a therapist I've been with for a very long time.
As we all do.
Yes, as we all do. As we all do. It's so important. I'm fortunate in that my parents have been really supportive. I don't tell them everything just because I think they get more upset at the rejection than I do. Yeah. I tell them when I book something. And
it's hard for parents. I think that's a really good point. It's, I think you need a really strong support system. And I think our parents, in some ways, and I think it's changing a little bit now with kids that are coming up, but I think when we were starting, it was really hard for parents to accept kind of like what we were even doing and understanding like, okay, well, in this scene, I'm going to be doing the X, Y, and Z. And it's that whole process for me at least was really hard. And then because of that, you're kind of in your own isolated world with it all.
Yeah, it can definitely feel like that. I know I have a lot of friends whose parents don't understand it or were not supportive of it. So you definitely got to find your support system elsewhere. Fortunately, my dad worked in the industry, so he completely understands it. I don't think my mom 100% understands it as an artist, but she's supportive, which is all I can ask for.
Yeah, it's just something I've personally been thinking about. I have, we have kids, and so I am not really wanting them to go into anything in this industry as a parent right now, but I also realize that if they were to choose to do that, I would probably approach in a very different way to support them in like the whole picture capacity.
Yeah, the whole mental health aspect of it, because to quote you, you definitely need a good support system. You need a good group of girlfriends who are not competitive, who maybe are also actors.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yeah. And you're lucky that you have that.
I do. Yeah. You're one of them.
Oh, thank you. Same.
And people outside of acting, I had so many people come to the show who had never seen me act before. And that was really fun because it's, they were really supportive.
Yeah, I think it's, I think the competitiveness, especially with the women, is something that, sorry, I'm getting a text message, is the, it's still hard. It's still the kind of nod and smile, and we're still kind of mean girls at some times with some situations. And it's not even just acting. I would extrapolate that to any kind of competitive environment. We're still, as women, not able to fully examine why we can't be happy for somebody.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I think society still breeds that. And I think it's getting better. But women are tough on women, and especially I work in two industries, the entertainment industry and the beauty industry, that can be very catty, and there's just no point to it. I'd rather sit in an audition with like 5 other girls who look exactly like me, going for the same role, and make conversation with them and support them. And like even when I got out of the Savage callback, there was a girl going in for Linda behind me. I didn't know it, but I just said, "Oh my God, I love your shirt." It's like the simple, and I did. It wasn't, it was the simplest thing, just trying to boost her up before she goes in for her callback. Yeah. Because just being catty about either of the worlds I'm in is just, there's no point to it, and it gets you nowhere.
Yeah, I really think it's taken a long time to really get to a place where I feel I can really be just like, okay, I'm content, and I have gratitude for what I have, and then then you can really feel that happiness, I think, for other people. And like even when I see people doing shows, it's like, oh, I want to go see it. Like I'm so happy that they're doing this, like it's It's really cool, but I think there's still, it's tough. It's a rough go, especially I think, like I said, in New York, it feels a little harder sometimes.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's, here LA is the Mecca. There's a lot of competition.
I think New York is worse, honestly.
So?
Well, I think it's more like aggressive. Like I think there's more this like it's like a smaller space. Just the spaces are smaller, so it does feel like there's this clawing that has to happen because of just even the geography of the island sometimes. And I still just think like, and again, it's not even just for acting or that industry. I think in general, there's still this like, you got to have the things and the checking the boxes, and there's still that kind of competitiveness.
Of course. I mean, it's the hustle culture. It's just the culture of New York. But, that's where you kind of have to you got to check yourself and not compare, because
I know, not compare. I know.
Everything takes time. I have people come to me for small business advice, and I'm like, it took me 5-6 years. I had to quit acting for a couple of years just to build my makeup industry, like business. It just takes time. Yeah. And so, you may see someone some actor who didn't do anything with 1 billion followers online who are getting cast. And it's just, you got to put on blinders and just be like, this industry makes no sense. That's it. It's not personal.
Yeah, it's so true.
And just keep going. You just have to keep going. Trust me, there's times I get really down about it. I'm human. I do. But you just have to, there's no choice but to keep going. There really isn't.
Well, you're an amazing example of that, and I think you just keep doing things. And okay, I have a few last couple questions. So what's a piece of advice you would give to your younger self? That's a heavy one.
It's
not an acting exercise. No, it's not an acting exercise. It's just, I'm curious.
No, it's funny because when I was doing the TV hosting, that was one of the questions.
Wait, before we get to that question, so you did do TV hosting. You were doing interviewing people on the street. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just got hired as a spokesperson for a makeup company, a Julep Beauty. And I still am their spokesperson. I do all their lives because they discovered I knew how to be on camera, and I also knew how to do makeup. But yeah, we were doing fun man on the street interviews. It was just part of their content series, and so I just got to interview people.
How was it talking to people on the street?
It's really fun. We were doing it in Washington Square. There was some pressure because we did have a quota to meet, and it is a lot of just like going up to people and being like, hey, you want to do this interview? But nowadays, kids are so used to this type of thing. Yeah. That most, everyone's like TikTok generation. Everyone was like open to doing it. Yeah. So,
younger people are great, but the baby boomers are like, get it away from me.
Like, totally. Yeah. I had a hard time getting, older generations to try. Yeah,
I watched a few of them, and I thought you were really natural and like really great. Because I think it would be hard for me to do that. Is there any rude people? No.
Well, you're doing it right now. Yeah, there was some rude, but you know what? I rely a lot on editing. Yeah. So those were a good 5-minute interviews edited down to 30 seconds. So I could kind of bullshit and do my thing, and but I don't know. I'm an extrovert, so I love talking to people, and it just sort of combined all my worlds. Those were really fun to do. Yeah,
they looked fun. I was like, that's a cool thing, because I feel like New York has such a diverse people that you just never know who you're going to kind of like pop into and like talk to. So I feel like that's really cool.
It was basically like just an improv exercise the whole time.
Right. Improv to just kind of see like where it would go. Cool. No, I love that. I think that was really fun. So, okay, what would you say to your younger self?
What would I say to my younger self? As of what? As of the timeline. And I don't want to say all things happen for a reason, because I only half believe that. But it's not that things won't happen for you, but it's a squiggly line. There will be lots of ups and downs, and it's all a journey. I had a lot of personal things happen in the past 5 years. That I was not expecting, and life happens, and it's not necessarily good or bad, it just is. And so I think when I was younger, I was like, well, this needs to happen by this date, and this is going to happen by this date, and some of those things never happened. I went through IVF last year, and I couldn't have a kid, and so, which is fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's been its own grieving process, but things like that I wasn't expecting to be at this age. I thought, I'd have a kid and have met someone by now, but and neither of those are good or bad. It's just like your own journey. And so once I feel like now at this age, I would tell my younger self, just just accept the journey, because it'll be okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I mean, it is hard. And as you get older, there's just, you're great. I'm so grateful for each day, for what I have. And like every time I'm like, okay, this, like you said, this didn't work out, or this isn't the way that things, like I kind of thought it was going to be, but I'm focusing on the positive things, and that there is, health, and like now I'm so much more focused on like health, and like, death is like a thing that's like not that it's that far away, but like, it's just more in my mind more than in my 20s and like even early 30s. I feel like I was just like whatever, like I could care less about anything. And so that's shifted for me for sure.
Well, definitely, and we're seeing our parents get older and all of that. But I don't know, my therapist has said, and I always come back to this, but she says nothing can stay the same forever. And that I come back to that when things are really tough or I'm doubting myself, because, I've had a rough 5 years, but I had my Phoenix fire last year, basically. Yeah. I told you my car burned down. I almost had like a literal Phoenix fire, and you don't have a choice but to keep going. But out of that, in a lot of my healing with that, it's like the show came up and I met some really wonderful people, and it's okay. It didn't stay the same forever. Yeah. On the other side of it now. So
yeah, that's great. Well, I'm always here to support, and always here. But I mean, and also you're just one of those people that everyone's like, I love Amy Klewitz. She's like the best person ever, and I'm like, yeah, I know she is. Like, you just have a very like positive reputation, and I think like this show that you just did is just like this. I really feel like this is like a start of like something new for you.
I hope so. It's part of the journey. I hope you're right.
And what do you have anything coming up or that you want to talk about? Else coming up for you?
Not at the moment. I had a feeling you were going to ask me this, and at first I was like, well, should I make myself sound like I'm working on it? I'm like, no, let's just be honest. I don't know. I don't have anything lined up. I definitely, I have my usual host. I have a spokesperson job that's weekly, so that's a performance, job for me. So I have that still going, but back to auditioning and back to grinding. Definitely, this show lit a fire in my ass to just do more theater calls, because it gets easy to do self tapes just at home, and I'm like, no, I need to be going back to equity cattle calls just for the sake of performing, because theater was killed for so long and I missed it, and the last show I had done was with you guys, and back to the grind. I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, take a break, and then we'll revamp Buicks and get Joel to get on that. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed the whole show. And anything inspiring you, like just maybe a person or a thing, or like a show or anything like that?
Inspiring right now in general?
Yeah, just like what's like your thing. Like, for example, for me, I am really into Walton Goggins. I like, White Lotus was my gateway, and we knew him, like we watched Justified and all that, and like he's like the apex of like comedy and thing, and now I'm in a full obsessive mode.
Love it. Oh, so like a person who's inspiring, you think?
Or a person or a play or a thing you've watched recently.
Oh, I don't know. I'm bad about watching stuff. Honestly, my brain has been in this show mode for 3 weeks.
Have you seen any theater?
Oh my God, I saw Oh Mary.
Oh, I just was talking to Jane. I interviewed her yesterday about Oh Mary.
Oh my God, what did I just watch? It was incredible. I literally still think about that play. I'm like,
I know, it's so good,
so funny, yeah,
and just like the laugh out loud.
Like from the beginning of the play straight to the end. I'm just like, where did he's they. Where did they come up with this? Like,
yeah, and I think they wrote a sentence about it in the notebook, and then like came back and was like that was the play. And I think that's another really good story to hear of, like, sometimes you just have these thoughts, like I'm like, oh, that's a dumb idea. It's not. You just write it down and see where it goes.
Yeah, it took them 10 years.
Yes, it took 10 years, and I think that's a really good thing, because I think people do think it's like, oh, someone just does something and it's going to happen really fast. And no, this stuff takes, like you said, it takes years and years and time and dedication and so much, truth and belief in yourself. So, all right, well, my last question is, okay, so if you were trapped in an elevator with someone, who would it be?
It would definitely be Shakespeare first. I would love to just pick Shakespeare's brain. That would be amazing. And then right now, and sort of pertaining to your last question, I guess maybe who inspires me, I don't know, I'm going through like a Scarlett Johansson kick. I just think she's such a badass. She's a feminist. She's killing it in the industry, and she's a terrific actress. And
yeah, she's great. She's a really good person, I think. And she's married to Colin Jost, so
oh my God, love them.
I'm sure her life is awesome. So, yeah. But anyway, thank you, Amy, for your time. I really appreciate it. You are an inspiration to us all. I hope for like amazing things for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Katie. I love it.
So, I will leave you with that. And until next time, be well and have a good day.